Italy, the land of pasta, passionate hand gestures, and a sudden, rather aggressive stance on immigration? That's right, amici. The country known for its open arms and even more open bottles of Chianti has seemingly declared war on immigration. New laws, stricter border controls, enough to make you want to grab a gondola and paddle back to simpler times. Let's dive into the top 10 reasons behind this dramatic change and see if we can't find some clarity amidst the chaos. Politics. The grand stage where promises are made with the flourish of a hand and then quietly swept under the rug when no one's looking. In Italy, as in many places, politics is less about solving problems and more about finding someone to blame when things inevitably go sideways. It's a game played on a field of broken promises, greased with the tears of disappointed voters who keep hoping for change, only to find themselves let down time and again. Every election cycle, the faces may change, but the sense of frustration remains the same. And much like a game of calcio or Italian soccer, politics thrives on the drama of finding scapegoats. The crowd wants someone to blame for every missed goal, every lost opportunity. Enter immigration, the perennial favorite for finger-pointing. In Italy, some political parties have realized that nothing brings in votes quite like pointing at a complex issue and yelling, "They're the problem." It's a tried-and-true tactic. Take a difficult situation, simplify it, and then blame it on the most convenient target. These parties, with all the subtlety of a foghorn in a library, have seized on immigration as their issue du jour. They shout, they gesture, and they make sure everyone knows exactly who they think is to blame for Italy's woes. They paint a picture of Italy overrun, a nation on the brink, all because of those pesky foreigners. The narrative is simple, dramatic, and designed to stir up fear and anxiety among the public. It's enough to make you wonder if they also blame immigrants for the fact that Italians talk with their hands so much. Maybe next, they'll claim that hand gestures are a foreign import too. Now, it's not that Italy doesn't have its share of challenges. The economy has its ups and downs, unemployment is a real concern, and social issues are never far from the headlines. Life isn't always easy, and people are right to want answers. But blaming them all on immigration is like blaming the pigeons for the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's a convenient story, but it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. The real issues are far more complicated than any one group can explain. Italy, like any good pizza, is a delicious blend of different ingredients. Its culture, its food, and its people are richer for the mix. Diversity isn't a problem. It's the secret to what makes Italy so special. So when you hear politicians spouting off about the dangers of immigration, remember, they're just playing to people's fears. It's easier to blame someone else than to tackle the real problems, but real leadership means looking for solutions, not scapegoats. Let's talk economics, baby. Because when it comes to money, jobs, and opportunity, things can get heated faster than a wood-fired pizza oven in Naples. Nothing gets people riled up quite like the idea of someone else getting a slice of their metaphorical pizza. It's not just about food. It's about what that pizza represents: security, comfort, and a fair share of the good life. The fear is simple. Immigrants equal competition. Competition for jobs, for resources, for a place at the table. Suddenly, every new arrival feels like another player in a high-stakes game of musical chairs, where the music never seems to stop. Even that last slice of prosciutto at the deli starts to feel like a battleground. Who gets it? The local or the newcomer? It's a small moment, but it speaks volumes about bigger anxieties simmering beneath the surface. It's enough to make even the most laid-back Italians start sweating into their cappuccino, glancing over their shoulder and wondering if their way of life is slipping away, one coffee break at a time. Sure, there are real concerns about the strain on social services, especially in a country still grappling with its own economic woes. Unemployment, rising costs, and a sluggish economy make everyone a little more protective of what they have. But blaming immigrants for a country's economic problems is about as effective as using a gondola to commute during rush hour in Venice. It might make for a dramatic story, but it doesn't actually get you anywhere. While everyone's busy pointing fingers at the new arrivals, the real culprits, corruption, endless bureaucracy, and a system that rewards inefficiency, are quietly making off with the real spoils. It's a classic case of misdirection. Meanwhile, that guy who's always on siesta, the officials who never seem to work, and the bankers cashing in on the chaos, they're all laughing all the way to the bank, untouched by the blame game playing out in the streets. So, the next time you hear someone ranting about immigrants stealing jobs, remember, It's often just misdirection, a convenient scapegoat for much deeper, more complicated problems that have nothing to do with newcomers. And let's be honest, in Italy, the real threat isn't someone taking your job. It's someone else mastering the art of the perfect espresso foam before you do. Because in the end, it's not about fear. It's about pride, tradition, and who can make the best coffee in town. Let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the mafioso in the piazza. Security. Linking immigration to crime is about as accurate as saying all Italian grandmothers are named Nonna. Yes, there are instances where immigrants commit crimes, just like native-born Italians. Because newsflash, criminals come in all shapes, sizes, and passport stamps. Italy's crime rate is relatively low, especially compared to other developed nations. But facts, much like a decent plate of spaghetti alla carbonara, are often lost in the sauce of sensationalism. So when you hear someone whispering about immigrants and crime, remember, the real fear is probably about losing their beach chair. The European Union, a beautiful tapestry of cultures, languages, and bureaucratic nightmares. Italy, being the boot-shaped peninsula it is often the first port of call for those seeking refuge. While the EU talks about solidarity, when it comes to immigration, some countries are more eager to pass the buck than a plate of spaghetti at a family dinner. This has left Italy feeling like the designated driver of the European road trip, stuck with all the responsibility and none of the fun. So when Italy throws shade at the EU, remember, they're just tired of cleaning up after Europe's immigration party. The media. The media loves a good story, and nothing sells like fear, outrage, and a healthy dose of xenophobia. When it comes to immigration, the Italian media, much like a gossiping Nonna, can't resist a dramatic tale. Headlines scream about invasions, politicians pontificate, and suddenly, everyone's an expert on border control. So the next time you see a headline screaming about the dangers of immigration, remember, you're probably being played. Italy, a land where history whispers from every cobblestone, where every street corner seems to echo with stories of emperors, artists, and revolutionaries. Here, the past isn't just remembered, it's lived, woven into the very fabric of daily life. In Italy, tradition is held more sacred than a grandmother's secret recipe for tiramisu. It's the aroma of simmering tomato sauce, the laughter of family gathered around a table, and the careful passing down of customs from one generation to the next. So it's no surprise that some Italians worry about the impact of immigration on their beloved culture. For many, the thought of change stirs up a deep sense of uncertainty, as if the very soul of Italy could be at risk. The fear is that with an influx of newcomers, Italy's unique identity will be diluted, lost in a sea of foreign faces and unfamiliar customs. There's a concern that the traditions that define Italy might fade, replaced by something unrecognizable. But here's the thing. Culture isn't a fragile flower that wilts at the first sign of change. It's not something that can be swept away by a single gust of wind or a new neighbor moving in. Culture is a robust vine, constantly growing, evolving, and even borrowing from other cultures. It adapts, it thrives, and it finds new ways to express itself, often becoming richer in the process. Italy has been a melting pot for centuries. From the Romans to the Normans, from traders to travelers, waves of people have shaped and reshaped what it means to be Italian. Its history is a tapestry woven from countless threads, each one adding to its richness, complexity, and beauty. Every new influence becomes another vibrant color in the grand design. To fear change is to deny the very essence of what makes Italy so special. A nation that has always found strength in diversity, and whose true tradition is the ability to embrace the unknown and make it its own. Let's talk demographics, baby. Italy has a bit of a baby problem. The birth rate's lower than a gondola in a drought, and the population's aging faster than a bottle of fine Barolo. This, as you can imagine, has some folks worried. Who's going to keep the pasta industry afloat? Who's going to inherit those centuries-old vineyards? Enter immigration. It's seen by some as a potential solution to Italy's demographic dilemma. Of course, not everyone's thrilled about this solution. Some worry about the strain on resources, others about the changing face of Italy. But one thing's for sure, something's gotta give. Let's face it, trying to secure Italy's borders is about as easy as trying to eat spaghetti with a spoon. It's a logistical nightmare, a geographical puzzle, And frankly, it makes you wonder if someone, somewhere, is playing a very elaborate prank. Italy's a boot jutting out into the Mediterranean, with a coastline longer than a plate of spaghetti after Nonna's done stretching the dough. The Mediterranean is about as calm and predictable as a toddler hopped up on gelato. It's a watery highway for everything from luxury yachts to boats filled with desperate souls seeking a better life. Italy's caught in a bind, wanting to be compassionate, but not Europe's unofficial lifeboat service. It's a tough balancing act, one that would make even the most skilled gondolier seasick. Ah, Italy, land of passionate opera, fiery romance, and public protest that could make a volcano blush. The immigration debate has sparked protests hotter than a bowl of Nonna's arrabbiata sauce. On one side, you've got folks demanding stricter border control. On the other, people chanting for solidarity. It's a cacophony of opinions, a clash of cultures, and never boring. Ah, politicians. Those noble public servants. Those tireless advocates for the people. Okay, let's be real. Politicians are about as trustworthy as a used gondola salesman in Venice. When it comes to immigration, the promises flow like cheap wine at a Roman banquet. But once in office, those promises evaporate faster than a shot of grappa on a hot day. Complexity doesn't win elections, but simple slogans and scapegoats, that's political gold. Whether it's politics, pasta, or public opinion, Italy's war on immigration is a complex recipe. What do you think? Is Italy making the right move, or is this just another political pasta bake destined to leave a bad taste? Let us know in the comments below. Arrivederci!